Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Incredible life stories with Simon Kasyate. Always a pleasure having to sit down and listen to ordinary folks tell their extraordinary stories, but oftentimes I also get extraordinary folks with their extraordinary life stories. And today is just one of those when I have the pleasure of hosting a man that has transitioned in every sense of the word except going into the realm of divinity in the sense of being an angel or even God, but a guy who has lived life from different stages in different places and made several achievements, never mind punctuated with several failures, as he will share with us on this program. But certainly a man whose life story is one that we'll be glad to have on Incredible Life Stories. Without further ado, Dr. Dennis Sempebwa. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Simon. It's a pleasure, privilege to be here with you, sir.
If you're below 30 and watching this program, you possibly will not relate. But in our heydays was a group, gospel sensational group, a trio of young men that rocked the world. Forget about rocking the Ugandan music scene, but they rocked the international gospel music scene. Their name, Limit X.
Limited.
I know
Yeah.
what Limit X means.
Yes.
Because we are taught in primary school, find X, we haven't found X at all.
Exactly.
Why did you limit yourself to the X?
X, we actually X, because X, we took the other part of X denotes the unknown.
Aha.
So limit is unknown, especially, and we're humble enough to not say, okay, limit is the sky. No, you know what? Limit is unknown if we trust God. Work hard and trust God, which the combination of the two became the platform from which we work hard, but incredible limit. There's no limit to the trust to what God can do with us.
Wow, with your great hits such as Malibongo is my favorite.
Yes.
And of course your distinguishable friends,
Paul Kenya, Paul
Mutebi
and Isaac Ruchi, yes.
Yes. Now you have all grown and certainly are a different postcard image from the Limit X guy.
Yes, sir.
But coming to you, you have transitioned into now a businessman, a tutor, a mentor, an academic, an author. Today I have the pleasure of holding your newest book in my hands, Peopleology.
Yes, sir.
Just tell us quickly what you're up to right now.
Up to right now, we're 5 suits. We run 5 corporations. Of course, I do ministry, which is itinerant travel ministry, but also teach train. I have an organization called Sahara Wisdom Center, which educates minds, especially here, educates minds. And then we also publish books. My story, writing books, telling stories, especially stories of Africa. We're passionate about that. So I have a publishing house. And and I also have a college too, a college that trains across nations called the 300.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
So this keeps you busy,
Very busy.
And yet you also have family?
5 kids, a wife, 5 kids, married, not to date this, but in a few days, weeks, next month, 29 years married.
Wow.
Yes, with my
Almost
wife,
30 years.
Ingrid, yes. Almost 30 years.
That's a full time.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Great journey.
Dennis, you trace your roots from Uganda,
Yeah.
but now you have your branches and leaves and canopy across the world, working in over 80 countries. But you are domiciled in the United States of America.
Yes, sir.
We're happy to have you in Uganda once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, tell us that story of when you were born, where you were born, and to whom you were born.
Mukono, Mukono, yeah. Mukono. Samuel and Deborah Sempe were part of one of 6 kids.
Wow.
We first born, and right there, boom, my first memories are, jumping over bodies, the struggle of age 5, 6, shortages, not having enough, and lining up in the morning for the highly rationed essential commodities, soap and
sugar,
salt, and 5 a.m. go back in, and there's gas here, there's petrol here, and then it's gone, and sometimes you line up for hours, but as you get there, hey, we're out of sugar, and now you're like,
no kerosene
no
for the lamp in the
yeah.
night.
Yeah, just breakfast was a luxury, so we would go and through plantations and find guavas and mangoes and that was life, rough deaths, just and then learning too on the personal side. Looks like the Sempebwas didn't live long, because in fact, my dad would die while I was young. His dad had died before 40, so they don't live long. They were alcoholics. There was all and then women, and so too many kids and kids you didn't know, and so there was a lostness to the childhood. But nonetheless, I had the spiritual experience at 12, which it felt like, okay, I can't have this, but I can have peace from within.
How did that come to be for a 12-year-old Ugandan lad at that time?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the age where you're just rolling down a village path and riding makeshift bicycles and doing some picadillos in the neighborhood and
what,
dodging school just to shoot mangoes.
Yes. Oh, did all the above. Oh yeah, I did all the above. But I was the thinking kid who would like, okay, there's not very many people who are old, which means I don't think I'll get old.
Soon.
That was a really
I'm old one now.
Yes, yeah, because I was the firstborn. Whether it was a firstborn thought, Simon, or a proclivity to thinking, but I remember thinking into, people don't get old, so my life expectancy. I didn't know what it was called.
If this should make you feel better,
yes, sir.
I'm a firstborn.
Yeah.
And my dad died before he made 40. Today, I have outlived my mother.
Yeah.
And I'm not yet 50. See?
Yeah. That story.
So I relate.
You related. Yeah, but I was again, the thinking kid also came with that depressive, like, oh man, you can't quite, my whole world seemed oblivious to the harsher implications of this. This meant we couldn't have a lot.
There was no breakthrough.
There was no breakthrough. Yeah. So I was out feeling my world not giving me options, and hence the depression. I didn't call it that.
Hunger.
Yes.
The hunger within to say I need to unshackle myself out of this.
And I talk to kids today. I would have had suicidal ideation. I would have been that kid if I had the exposure, because I think that, and we'll talk about this later on, I think these gadgets, the social media has given language to that, and even sometimes exaggerates that, because there's a lot of mental illness,
and which make people feel like that's a real thing to as opposed to struggling through.
Yeah. So, but in fact, I tell kids today, there was not one suicide on my village. In fact,
there was so much to kill you that just to contribute to your own death.
Exactly, and I tell them, actually, and we had reasons to do it because it was like bleak, but we never, because there wasn't an option. You burrow through. You better make life work, and that's what led me to that crusade where they talked about Jesus and life. And I thought, you know what?
You just stumbled into a crusade.
My mom said, "There's a crusade." I said, "Okay, mommy, let's go." And we went together. And Idahosa, this Nigerian guy, was here, who became a guy that I kind of got to know later on, and he was just flowing robe saying, Jesus loves you, he can give you peace. He didn't sell miracles or signs. There wasn't that promise of a fix, but there was a promise of hope. Promise of hope and peace, that God's peace can pass understanding was, even if that's a thought that I shouldn't really understand at 12, but I was like, whoa. There's a peace that transcends my logic. My logic is telling me it's bad, but God's peace can can override that. I want that then. In fact, I came forward to receive peace.
And from that
day,
you've been walking in the straight and narrow.
No, the peace came over me, and the struggles didn't end, but I had like assurance, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. Not I'm gonna succeed, but I am good today.
Tell me something, Dennis. With your accent, one would be hard pressed to imagine you ever went to a local primary school or even secondary school. Which schools did you go to?
Aga Khan at the time, Kampala Primary at the time. Then we became Kampala Primary. Then Norman Godino, which had become Buganda Road.
So the Sempebwas were not that very bad off after all, because we're talking about schools that are, you'd say, listed, because there were smaller schools in Mukono, Chisowera Primary School, for example. No offense, really.
No, because my mom was a teacher. So my mom got a job there, and we came along.
Oh, yeah.
We really couldn't afford like Norman Godino. We couldn't. There were all these
Which is down the road
elitist
today.
kids. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. But my mom was a teacher who transferred from Kampala Primary to Norman Godino to Buganda Road. Then who actually became kind of what were there, and then we came along.
Wow.
So, but all the kids were a little, hi, you're right.
You
You're right. You
put
were
them and
right.
said, "I
You're
am
right.
here by the
You're
grace
right."
of God.
Yes.
And then where did
Yes.
the journey of schooling was?
Then Kampala High, Kampala High, and that's when my father died. Then I couldn't continue. Well, I finished up to A levels there, but when I actually got into the BCom, Bachelor of Commerce, I did well enough. But then when Daddy died, I couldn't. I had to then become
The benefactor. Become the firstborn and be the guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was rough, and that's when I got this. I was at Robert Kayanja's at the time, and then he said, "Hey, there's an opportunity for some scholarship, of some short-term scholarship in England." So me, Paul, and Isaac, and the other Paul, Seru Kenya, converged there. And that's
a very interesting way to look at it, because you guys are more like brothers.
Yes,
in fact,
we were.
you and Paul look alike, kind of.
Yes, you do. Yes.
But how did you meet? Just take us there. How did these three lads that make Limitex meet?
Well,
In church?
We started
Over
here.
a keyboard?
Over a keyboard here. We were part of the Robert Kayanja's, Pastor Robert's music. I led the music ensemble.
So this
called the New Wave Band.
thing.
Yeah.
From what point in your life do you recall hit you as a bug?
I could.
Were you raised musical?
No, I had no, I did not know, but whatever I tried, I did good. At first, it was drums, little drums. My style was drums, and I actually ended up creating a rhythm that spread around all the churches.
Wow.
Then I started playing keyboards. Also, like ding, ding, boop, 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 self-taught. I couldn't read, and I could do this. I could do this really well. I started to harmonize. I had a voice. But I could hear sounds. I could hear where things. So I started to suggest voices.
And
then who becomes guess who becomes the choir director? Dennis your leader. So I'm not a natural born leader. I'm a born leader.
You're not a trained musician.
Yeah.
But you were a natural born musician.
Yeah.
But discover their talents. By trial.
Yeah, by trial and error. I had this proclivity, and then I also people just followed me. There's a leadership thing that was on me. They trusted me, and so they would say, "Let's try this. Let's fuse the kamuru. We used to call it kamuru, the local sounds with pop. Can we then create a sound? Let's harmonize this way." And the guys we tried things, and those things became what it became.
But then, of course, you were set in a traditional setting, the Ugandan thing. I mean, when it comes to religion, for example, and I profess a faith that requires you to be humble and not try to venture into rather unknown. If you must sing, you have to sing in some kind of Gregorian chant. So breaking away from that otherwise mundane, boring way of praise and worship into the all that. Wasn't that quite a bit of something that was frowned upon, or was it the support of Pastor Robert Kayanja and others like him who were so visionary to see ahead and say, "You are the future"?
There was always one in every space. There was always, okay, you can do that. Now they weren't going to encourage it, but he tolerated it more than everybody else, enough for when we did it, the crowd loved it.
And then he said, okay.
Then he said, okay, cool, let's do it. Then the crew cut, I was always radical,
absolutely.
I was always radical. Let me try this, because I figured young people they don't just want to just come here about Jesus. Can we just attract them? Can we attract them to here?
Let them see people that look like them from the ghettos and wherever it is on the streets.
Yeah.
But they are the poor people.
And really that, but I've always been, even today, I push against trends.
Wow.
I push against trends. And
well, there's not much trend you have to push against now with no hair on your head.
I know.
Just like me.
I know.
So then this year you hit with an opportunity for short-term scholarship.
Yeah, short-term scholarship.
And you say?
Yeah. We go. We were supposed to go sing. There, we ended up sweeping things and sweeping yards and not doing much with this short-term scholarship thing. And we were just, what are we doing here? Then, by happenstance, of course, God did this. Some local church called Kensington Temple, big church, had a cancellation. And they said, there's an African group that was supposed to come or something like that. I don't quite remember. Can you guys sing? We said, yes, we can.
Wow.
So we sang that one morning, converged and sang that one morning, and boom, it so happened that, and we sang Malebongwe. And in the audience was the auditor of the Black Britain and these main newspapers. And the following day, the news headlines: Ugandan group takes England by storm.
Wow.
It was an undeserved headline, but because when we sang, the church went, and boom. Now we've got interest. Now churches want us. Now, And long story short, now we're all over. The short-term scholarship, we tell Pastor Robert, we're not going to come back. Which was an issue with him. Absolutely. Of course, it was like, guys, now I'm going to lose my band, my musical director. But
also his reputation, because now people say, we give you guys some scholarships and the guys come in and never go back.
Yeah, really, that was, yeah, absolutely. We did not even say, how dare you. We totally understood his reticence, but he didn't force us. He just like, okay. And it's kind of his personality. Okay, go, fine, go. And so we just, later on, of course, now the group is, and then again, the same bug starts to hit me. It's all church stuff. Can we fuse stuff? Can we, what if we do a record and release it and release it mainstream in England? So we went to this DJ, did a single, and the DJ with Power FM, one of the top stations there, started to play the song. And the nightclubs heard about the song, and it was "Don't Pass Me By," a Christian song, but we recorded it we recorded it in a pop house version, and whoa, the clubs picked it up. Now the clubs want us. And now we're like, oh, hey, but we have a local, we don't go to clubs. What are we going to do? And I remember the first time we're like, okay, let's go. But Lincoln Kasyate was our pastor then. Lincoln says, you guys, sure. So can we go? This nightclub, the top nightclub in London, wants us to go sing our song, which was now #1 on the underground London charts, So
I love that underground London charts.
Yeah, underground London, because we're not published. So, but the underground, which is the DJs, say like, what's this Ugandan group? So we went there and we're like praying, God, this is an evil place. We're in a nightclub. What are we doing? Because we had never been to such a place, and people are dancing and squeezing, and we're like there, and like, well, ladies and gentlemen, our group is coming on. Liberty is coming on, and we're like, eventually then they put us on, and we sang our Christian song, and the club went ballistic.
Wow.
The club went ballistic. They're like, wow, they're all singing, and the manager comes and says, guys, Stevie Wonder is coming tomorrow. You want to come? We're like, Stevie what? Stevie who? Stevie Wonder came, Muhammad Ali came. So we ended up meeting these greats there. They ended up having us regularly to come do our Christian song there in the nightclub.
What they call that? The grace of God?
The grace of God, crossover. Now we're crossing over. But we're crossing over with the cross.
Wow.
Crossing over with the cross, which is where it belongs.
Yeah. At that time, of course, you're bouncing bachelor. No appendages except your biological family back home.
Yeah.
Let's take a short break. When we return, we'll see now the transition, because you were doing other things. I mean, you were beyond the music. You were trying to make a living that is more sustainable. But then you quit that and choose to go mainstream music.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back. It's Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Welcome back. It's Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate. And yes, if you're catching us on YouTube, it's always important that you press that subscription button so that you enter a new world of inspiration. Get to know these incredible life stories from otherwise ordinary folks. Tonight on the program, Dr. Dennis Sempebwa, a member of what now is known as Limited, but from way back, it's now disintegrated in a good way, if I can put it that way. Every one of you doing your own solo enterprises, and in your case, teacher, minister,
Yes,
and
sir.
everything in between. So you're at your peak.
Yeah,
You're
the peak.
performing in the UK. You have some tours down back into Africa.
Yeah.
Do you recall the first time you came back to Uganda as
Yes.
the star in Limitex?
Yeah, we
How was
came back. We had just, now we were winning awards. We had won what it was in England, and we got an invitation to go to America. But we couldn't go to America just from England, so we had to come back here, get a visa.
Wow.
So we said, once we're there, we might as well perform. Little had we known that the fame of what we had done there, because we had won award that year, Best British New Artist, 1992, for Limit X, the group from Uganda that was not even a British group.
That was not even known here in the first place.
Not known here. So we came back here, and we were radical here. For us, we were normal there because but what we came here because we weren't a choir group. We were singing gospel music, but with pop sounds and dancing and choreography and all that. And so we performed right here in Kampala, and the storm, wildfire. Now, pastors are having problems, our kids are not skipping church to come line up for tickets. And so we decided to call all the pastors because they were starting to have this is worldly, this is too much, this is too crazy. The music is bumping music. So we decided to do actually a show with just the pastors and had the Bishop Kauma was the chief guest.
Wow.
Which was radical. And we made them dance. And right then,
this is how to get the new generation back into the church.
And the bishop came out, and that's what he said. He said, "You know what, these young men, leave them alone. Let them win the young people back to God." And so that broke it, and we went to America. And when we did, America likes to celebrate difference, so we went there. And for them, Malibongo was like, Mali, what? These guys, just the fact that they couldn't say the song, they're like, Mali, what? This Mali, so Mali, but why? Mali, but am I on the runway? And so they just, long before we know it, we're all over the place. Stevie Wonder, all these amazing stars. We were the thing. Because we went all over now, changing our outfits to African outfits, and because we realized
you need to do the branding to be able to fit in a certain way.
We realized, the principle. It's not your similarities that separate you; it's your difference from others that separates you. Because if there's two of you, one of you is unnecessary.
Absolutely.
So you have to be. We were different. And we're different, and that's.
But what did that do to you in terms of, I want to call it overnight fame?
Yeah.
But yes, when you are hit with this fame, name and face recognition, for a young man, quite impressionable, out of Uganda, and now you're out of the vagaries of things that shackle us here, the poverty, the disease, the everything. You're in the land of opportunity, you're in the USA.
Yes, sir.
Didn't you stand the heavy risk of rising off into?
Of course.
The wide path that leads sometimes to destruction.
Yeah, definitely. It was there all the time, especially when you realize how much more money you could make, how much more famous you could be, but we had what looked like overnight success, because there's no such thing as genuine overnight success. In fact, all overnight successes have spent years in private preparation. So we dreamed this. We dreamed this before it came, and once it came, we were already prepared that we would keep our level head, would keep together, we would keep praying in the morning, we'd keep mentors. This is when I started to discover some of the science of achievement. That the diligence and hard work and excellence and focus and attitude and facing failure and surrounding ourselves. So these things begin to crystallize for me, because now we're being interviewed by Voice of America, BBC. Why are you successful? We couldn't say God helped us, or we couldn't say luck.
Absolutely.
So then guess who the guys handed the microphone to? Dennis. Wow. So that introduced me to, you better figure out how you succeeded. Maybe it's not serendipity or luck. Maybe it's a science. Maybe Indians do, maybe tech gurus do this. Maybe everybody who succeeds do this. That's when I was introduced to this idea that there's these things that you do that cause success regardless of what you do, and that's what led me into this place of of thinking and thinking beyond what we had done, and that's and yeah, but the temptation to veer was present. It's always present.
Wow.
Always present.
And then, of course, you run your race
Yeah.
as a successful music
Yes.
group. But then, of course, life was calling each one of you differently.
Yes.
In your case,
Absolutely.
what was that calling that came for you now to make the decision, say,
Mm-hmm.
I think I better put Limit X business on the back burner
Yeah.
and pursue this? And what is it that you pursued?
It was actually mutual. We were all busy. Now we're married. Each one we all have like a kid or two, and we're gone 7 months out of the year.
I'll take you back on that one and ask you how you met Ingrid and all that. But now
Yeah,
you
yeah,
tell us now
yeah.
what's
That,
going.
because I didn't met her at a concert in the comments, you know. But we had a concert.
I won't
yeah.
allow you words.
Yeah, yeah,
It will
yeah.
have to be a chapter on its
Okay,
own.
okay, that's fine, that's fine. But we came to this place. I mean, Simon, we were gone. World tour takes you away 7 months.
Absolutely.
7 months, a year has 12. So I have kids who barely see me, wife who barely see. I'm newly married now. Paul gets newlywed. Isaac newlywed. We start to get to this place where, is this so? So it was really a mutual 5 months of anguish where Isaac says, "I think I want to go back to Uganda, guys. Why don't we take a break?" That's how it started. 6 months break. Let's just take a 6 months break. But we're booked 7 months out, which was an issue because we're booked. We're very busy. We're one of the busiest music groups. 300 engagements a year.
Wow.
Out of 350.
Out of 60.
Yeah. So it's 365. So
you only had three months.
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah. So
2 months.
so 2 months. 2 months. 2 months to rest. So it became let's wait. But prior to that, I had been going to school on the road.
Wow.
Back to school, corresponding school, long distance school, because I could read. I discovered I could read. Of course, it was magazines. Then I could read books. So I enrolled. I got my bachelor's on the road while we were touring.
Wow.
I got my master's on the road while touring, and I got a PhD on the road. So, and of course, people were like, "Why are you doing? You're a musician. You're Limit X. Why are you your PhD?" I said, "I don't know. I didn't know I had stumbled upon."
An area that is supposed to be a preserve of certain people, not everyone.
yes, that I was being prepared for all of this. So the guys were also encouraging, like, "Wow, Dennis is at school, but why are you a doctor? You're a doctor? That's weird." I said, "I know it's weird." And I was a PhD, but a musician who jumped out up and down Malibongo every night, you know. And during that break, my pastor approaches me and says, "I want to start a college, but there's no one qualified here to do it, you know, to run it. Would you?" And I'm like, I don't know, I'm a singer. He said, "But you're a singer with a PhD." I said, "Yeah, you're right." You know, so I said, yes. And we founded the International College of Excellence that, again, I'm trembling thinking, what am I going to do here? But once I did, and it just took off. First day, we had 300 students. In about 7-8 months, we had 22 campuses. I opened 22 campuses across the world. It was because these contacts that I'd gathered with Limit X, I was able to go back and say, "Hey, do you want us to bring our college to you? So I became an academician just like almost overnight, you know, at that point. Again, it wasn't overnight, but there was that idea of now I want to teach. Now I want to teach and train. So I morphed.
You morphed away from the performances of
Yeah,
music
yeah.
and went into the academia. And all that.
Yeah.
But also that also gave you a moment to settle down
Yes.
and build your family with
Yes,
Ingrid.
absolutely.
You just walk through how you met
kids,
Ingrid, but we
2
may need to
kids,
take it slower for
3
us to understand. Where did you find Ingrid?
Ingrid was our ride when we hit Chicago. There was this beautiful girl who was and her friend driving us from concert to concert. And I was like, "Oh, she's beautiful, but I'm not so. She's white. I'm firstborn of 6. My bloodline, integrity of my bloodline in my family has to be a white Muganda woman." So I had from Okono. Boom. I was closed off. But she was just like, she was gentle and she was kind and she was all these things, but she was in the wrong body, you know. So I came back here and they had arranged, you know. In fact, Reverend Danny and some of these guys they found me the perfect girl who had been Miss Uganda and it was perfect, and my mother had taught her, so it was going to be It was going to be
Match made in heaven.
match made in heaven. And all the boys were like, yeah. But man, I said, Mom, I think my heart's gone. My heart's with that girl, but she's white. What do you think? And she said, what? She said, well, if you're happy. I said, thank you, Mommy. That's all I need. Let me go fumble. Now, her dad was like, because again, all he knows is blacks
men.
don't work and blacks because he's in Chicago and he's looking at the profile of a black man. It's violence and drugs and womanizing. That's all. And she saw. And there were athletes too.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it was so a musician from not only black Chicago, black America, but black Africa. He said, absolutely not.
No.
So we waited 3 years, as we kept touring, but I was going to wait for her. She was perfect, and eventually he reluctantly said, sure. I married her, of course. Because now we're best of friends and all that, but he had to meet. I don't even think he was racist at all. He had to know a different kind of black man. He didn't know me, so family grew, and academics came into writing, and I started now training, and the rest.
Limitex. I mean, you have no limit at the moment. Dennis.
Yes, sir.
Raising a family.
Yeah.
In the US, multicultural. We've seen the hurdles you had to go through from the inception. But then raising these children, incredible children as you have, to appreciate that there is you and your Ugandan kith and kin, and there is them and the American kith and kin. Have you been able to try and make them realize that they are a blend of these two different civilizations, if I may
Yes,
put it like
no, I am.
And how difficult has it been?
Oh, I'm huge on that. I'm huge. Now, of course, initially, everybody wants to fit in. It's not natural. So they were the one with the weird name. They were not Smith. They were Sempebwa.
They can't even pronounce it.
Even today we have this jokes. Okay, what's the weirdest that a teacher has called you? Sempebwa. This teacher, Dad, his teacher called me Sempebwa. I keep correcting him, But I kept idealizing Africa. I told him, hey, America is 250 years old. My tribe is 3,000 years old. They're like, whoa, Daddy. I said, yeah, oh man, my tribe. I was born in the cradle of human civilization. Whoa, Daddy, whoa. So I idealized Africa as, this, because and then they saw the
human.
Yes, and they saw the lostness of the African Americans who were taken there. How they didn't, because their friends were like, man, your dad's from Africa, man. He's got a tribe. Said, oh yeah, I'm a Moganda. Like, what? I'm a what? Moganda. Whoa, what's that? Yeah. So the kids began to see it was cool to have. Yeah, there was a root. I was from somewhere, and I brought them here, and they're still marked by. They're like, oh, Dad, man, that's where I was from. The dances, So, and we've kept that. My daughter is 25. She's thriving, and she's when the guys come, she's anxious to get a PhD. Why? One of the reasons is she wants to keep her Sempebwa, because if you get a PhD as your last name, you keep it.
Oh,
so she says, I want to be Abigail Sempebwa Smith. I don't care what they I want to do. I want to keep my Sempebwa, Daddy. I want to keep my Sempebwa, because we're proud to be Sempebwas, But yeah, we kept. If you don't tell the stories, what are they going to attach to? In fact, the tragedy of America today is America stopped telling her story. People don't know about the founders. The kids don't know that. So, which is actually, when I talk to leaders here in Africa, this is an existential threat. Absolutely. If we don't tell the story, Africa is lost, because we are the stories.
Without a doubt. Now, Dennis, before we take another break, there's something I tell my friends who live like you.
Yeah.
And they call it black tax. Sempebwa Dennis is in the US, but the rest of his siblings are in Uganda. And when they look at you, they believe that your presence there should be able to sort out all their challenges back home. And maybe, for many reasons, some of them are of humble means, not because of their own making. But yes, the circumstances we live in here, so they always look up to you. Or many of them also believe they can take advantage of you. And some of them believe they can really live off you without doing much into changing their own circumstances. How much of that black tax have you had to be levied on?
Oh, quite a bit. Quite a bit. And then we've had, because of my dad's history too, there's been, because I've got like 1 million followers on social media. So so my office, in my office today, they get people calling and saying they are Sempebwa. They are Sempebwa.
Wow.
So initially my team was, in fact, my
How many is
my
is
CEO
everybody
is in the house. You know, Lisa would say, "Sir, there's a Brian Sempebwa is looking for you. Isn't that wonderful? Your long lost brother." And she'd see me go, "So what's? Aren't you excited?" I'm like, I know, Lisa. Can you not acknowledge? She said, "What do you mean?" I told him you would contact him or whatever. And of course I had to explain to her, and she realized later, because every other month there would be another Sempebwa.
Absolutely.
And immediately she realized how quickly we go from, "Wow, you're a Sempebwa?" to yes, and please, can you have him send me school fees? Can you have him send me a ticket to America? Can you have him do that? So it's like, of course firstly, the tragedy of it is my dad had so many children, so that I didn't know,
that you didn't know.
I didn't know, yeah. And if they're watching, I'm so sorry. But that too, the claim that you're Sempebwa,
Yes,
because
so you're
the perception, and do I even blame them? Do I even feel bad or feel like how dare you? No, if I was in their position, and I believe I'm connected or related to somebody who could change my situation, why not? Survivalism means you better use whatever means. So I don't feel bad, but it is something I have to manage. I have to protect my identity, protect my family, protect where I am, and it just comes with the territory.
Is there a moment when you feel like, when all this is done and you have secured the future of your children, so to speak, and all, that maybe this is one lovely paradise you want to sit and retire in? Or have you weaved yourself around your new location in the US and say, okay, fine, I'm Sempebwa, but I'm an international citizen and I can live anywhere, or I prefer to live in the US, or I will return to Uganda and live with my people?
If I had a regular job in America, like a professorial job, that's it, I would, because actually you can have the air is cleaner here, Exactly. There's some of the, I ate today real gonja and real, but I have got responsibility. We have got hubs in 27 countries, active hubs, so Japan and Brazil, and so I can't do business
when you're
based here.
Absolutely,
Just logistically,
I hear you. Let's take a break. When we return, now we get down to knowing you,
yes, sir.
Dennis Sempebwa. Away from the titles, away from the accomplishments that you've made in music, business.
Oh boy, yes, sir.
We'll be right back.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Welcome back. Still having our conversation, incredible life stories with Simon Kasyate, Dennis Sempebwa, a member of what used to be our rock music export to the international scene, Limidex.
Yes,
now, changed in every sense, but certainly still very musical. Are you still singing?
Oh my God! Oh yeah. Oh hey, we even flirted. We did a reunion concert.
Ah yes, I know.
And even we have a group, a Limitless group, and the boys are watching. But we every so often we almost for this week, Fred Hammond was coming through, and they had contacted us to maybe do a thing with him. So music is still there. It takes me about 2 months to scale up to vocally, because as a speaker you're like I get rough with the pipes, we call them pipes, but we probably won't be able to dance as hard, but the musical memory, the body has this, put me in there with Paul and Isaac and would sing.
How about if we just challenge you, just small a cappella on the program?
Oh my goodness.
You didn't see that. And
that's why he came to set me free. That's why he came to give me life. And that's why he came to set me free. And that's why he came to keep me alive, Redeemer.
Wow, I'm glad you didn't take me for the other side
Which one?
of American Got Talent.
Yeah.
I have nothing but praises for your beautiful voice.
Thank you, sir.
That's a good one. I think we'll close with another a cappella.
Oh,
later,
boy,
So just prepare
oh,
yourself for
boy,
that when
oh,
we're closing
boy,
the
oh,
program. Now,
Yeah.
if I were to host you at my house,
Yeah.
Dennis, and cook you a beautiful Ugandan dish that
Oh,
you'd consider
boy.
your favorite,
Yes, sir.
what should be on the menu?
Humorously, Binyewa.
Eh,
First, Binyewa.
Binyewa.
But a Chinyewa, now
Cooked in
this
a
the
box.
Waganda will kill me. In fact, I was with a Navigator and she was almost insulted that it's not Binyewa with matoke. It's Binyewa with muchere. Sorry, I just love the combination. Binyewa with muchere, of course, Rumonde. But no, I just was one of the kids. I never quite got to enjoy matoke as its own.
a culinary point.
Yeah, because it's of course let's face it, it doesn't have a taste in of itself.
Well,
it
so
doesn't
does rice, unless you spice it up.
Yes, yes. So the combination of rice with that thick chinyewa with fish in it, preferably with, of course, with the cabbage. Cabbage. Yeah. Avocado. My chemistry is changing about avocado, which is weird. It's causing me these days, but avocado and Rumonde and all the that's, you got me.
Be my guest. Now,
Yeah.
how would you wash that down? What's your favorite trick?
Really still pineapple, but a good old passion. Katunda, there's nothing like that. We have it bottled, we always in America, I'm like, there's nothing like
as good as
Katunda.
that fresh one made here. in
Made
Uganda.
here, that would be the meal. I'm really simple, and then I get hosted, I'm like, no, Bijewa no mchere. And they're like, what is sort of Muganda are you? I'm like,
It's okay.
It's
with a
okay.
kaunga.
It's okay.
And
Yeah.
you seem to be, without a doubt, a very busy body. But you get a moment to relax, don't you? What do you do when you're relaxing?
Because of my life, actually, I'm in my running years, I call them. I don't get hours and hours to relax. I'm very regimented. I get up at 4:46 a.m. and work out and all that. So I do movies quite a bit. I swim, but I want to I like stopping. I do long walks. One of the reasons, and the long walks I'm of course on
Thinking and
calls
getting
and
it to
all that.
yourself.
But I do movies and I because I'm into it and then it's out. It's over. 2 hours and it's over because I'm really
You're not
busy.
the kind of series, the guy who goes
No,
into series.
no,
and
I don't
just
binge.
watch.
Yeah,
You binge for.
yeah. Even on the planes today, we only fly planes that will have Wi-Fi because we're really actively working on continents, on these continents, and so because when America is sleeping, Japan is waking up. When so even at midnight, I take calls at midnight.
So you have to be the guy that weaves
Yeah.
through all the different time zones.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Wow, that must be a very hectic lifestyle.
Very hectic, it's high capacity and high capacity leaders and I work with them a lot. We're all the same way. We don't vacation like you don't ever go, I'm off a week, that's almost irresponsible. Because you've got 4 balls to juggle, which are important. How dare you say,
One of
okay,
the balls
2
will be
balls
out.
dropped because I was at a beach. That's irresponsible. So,
That is so
so
interesting.
yeah.
And if you to tell us, what gives you a good laugh? Yes, you look very easy to impress.
Yes, I am. I laugh out loud a lot. I laugh a lot. Comedy. We tell jokes. I tell jokes, but I don't take myself seriously, because life is too serious.
Already.
Yeah. I don't need to. I'm not intense. I'm affable. I love fun. I love people. It's fun.
And then in that state, what flips you and gives you
What
a frown
flips
on
you?
your
Yeah.
face?
What flips me? Injustice. When the big suppress the little. It's all the way from institutional injustice to systemic injustices and of course the ultimate is spiritual oppression. I feel like, and that I can do something about. I can introduce people to God, and so at least that helps. That really gets me. That gets me.
As an author, you have written incredible books. I've read this beautiful book of yours, Black Like Me.
Yes, sir.
Last night I had to binge on Peopleology, your latest book.
Yeah.
And I found it very captivating in as far as at least knowing how to relate with
Yes,
people
sir.
and understanding what comes with relationships. Those that build you, those that break you, those that hurt you almost irreparably. But I want to quote an excerpt from this book that
Yeah.
I want to share with our viewers. You say that as you peruse through the memoirs of yesterday's top achievers, at the end of many a rich life, these words echo through the halls of time, and you quote and say, if I were to do this over again, if I were to turn the clock and have my years given back to me, I would invest in the right relationships. Relationships. Tell us, what have you found out?
Relationships are everything. 70% of our lives is spent with people. It's in hurt from people. So doing life with people is inevitable, but people hurt us. People, we need them, but they're prickly because people hurt people.
It's like hugging a push pipe.
Exactly, and that you need it
Need
because
it.
living in isolation is not. I mean, in fact, studies.
Humans are social beings.
Yeah. I mean, there's this thing in Simon in Romania where they had these orphanages where there were too many orphans, too few helpers. Kids are all fed, all warm. The kids begin to die. They panic. Of course, kids are dying. They're good infant. Kids were born, and so they discovered the missing element was they were not touched by another human. That's why they were dying. That's how much we need each other. So people are 80% of why we get promoted or succeed in any area of life, military, doesn't matter, teaching, it doesn't matter, is how you do people. So you can skill up all you want, but you really are only effectively harming yourself with 20% of what it'll take you to really, truly succeed. So people are important, but people hurt, people break us. We have injuries from those relationships, and how we do those injuries determine how we do relationships, how we manage the injuries from relationships manages how determines what's going to become of us.
I like the part when you talk about doing life or doing people, and there's
Yeah.
a friend of yours, Dr. Peter Hodera from Kenya, who
Yes,
had a very
yes.
interesting line
Yeah.
in your book. He said, you speak from experience, some quite personal and painful.
Yeah.
This is a book, no, he said, this book is a manual on how to do people without doing yourself or them in the process. I found this quite very
Yeah.
A book, a manual on
Yes.
how to do people,
do people.
without doing yourself.
Yes. Huge. It's huge, and now it's going to be even more critical because we live in such an impersonal world with all the gadgets. You think those likes are people, but they're not. People get depressed because they were unfollowed. But you ask, who unfollowed you? By the way, I don't know. I think they were from Bangladesh. But somehow they meant something. It's called crowded loneliness. There's a lot of people,
Loneliness.
but we're yet so isolated. In fact, we're the most connected. This is oxymoronic. We're the most connected, disconnected generation. Yeah. And so this is absolutely critical, and I'm just so thrilled to just launch it around the world. We're going to do a masterclass on this. We're going to talk people because even our leaders right now we have a people crisis. The aging elders as us who are holding on to power, holding on to everything, having to mentor and ungrateful, entitled, disjointed Gen Z. They're being called Zoomers, late teens to 30. Wow. They don't want your experiences. They don't want your knowledge. They want to do it alone, but yet they're clueless. How do we persuade them? Hey, you need us, while they're spitting at us?
That's very, very important.
That's a dance. That's a dance. But it's a critical dance. In fact, it's an existential dance. We must, because they're coming. They're the majority. 70% of Africa is young.
In Uganda particularly, perhaps
even worse. Yeah, 17 and a half average age. So they're going to take over. It's inevitable. But they're ill-prepared, and they despise us, and yet they need us. We despise them, yet we need them. Hence
conundrum.
the dance. Yes, sir.
Dennis, if you are to visit a beautiful part of this great country, Uganda, for you to let your hair down, or what's left of it. Sorry, I keep taking a fright at you for your haircut.
I know.
Because I remember you with a box cut. You
Yes,
know?
yes, I had braids coming down.
Absolutely.
I've got hair history. Oh, I played with my hair.
You played
when
with
I
your
had
hair.
it.
You had your dreadlocks in there.
Yes, sir.
Well, you've traveled the world.
Yeah.
You've been to over hundreds of countries, but Uganda remains a beautiful place.
Yes,
But if
yes.
you were to let your hair down, or what's left of it in Uganda, where is that perfect spot? If it's not Mukono.
It was not Mukono. I don't know. We like to go. We like to go to Jinja. You know, we by the Nile there. We've got certain places we go. We just love just looking at the majestic Nile and it's just
And watching it take a 3 months journey
yes.
to the Mediterranean.
No, it's just the volume of water, just and to see. And then we go. Sometimes we sail. Every I do this every time. I go to the sail to the spot where the source of the Nile is. You know, to just see. They're right here. The water, right in the middle of the lake. You know, and you see it spouting out. It's just a wonder, and really this is the cradle of human civilization right here in these parts of the world. And so to be here, breathe this oxygen, Uganda, we're blessed. It is indeed the pearl of Africa.
Dennis, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now and forward, where do you see yourself in the short, medium?
Yeah, true.
Because you have a journey that we cannot really place a finger to. One time you were a buzzing musician, hitting charts both underground and overground. The next thing you are an incredible father, having 5 children in the USA. I'm sure you are still a marvel in Chicago.
Yes.
And then of course you are rolling up PhDs while on tour as a musician. Now you're running ministry, running schools in 20-something locations across the world. Where we see you in 20 years?
20 years raising leaders, and you know, raising, releasing. I want as many people released into their destinies, in their purpose. You know, and training, raising. I want institutions that which will train in the science of achievement. Achievement is not serendipitous. It's not luck. You can actually. There is a science to it. Diligence. Dream a thing first. Work hard at a thing. Become excellent at a thing. You'll be needed for that thing. It'll pay you.
Dennis, I mean, you are a highly spiritual person in terms of your faith and belief in
Yes.
God. And yet you are a guy that is grounded in the reality of human existence. I mean, you are a PhD, so you analyze and question conventional wisdom and knowledge.
Yes, sir.
How do you balance the two worlds? Because many of us think that to succeed, you either have to pray and give your very all to the divinity of things, and then you seem to say, look, you can have a balance between the two. How do you strike that balance?
Well, I've got 3 doctorates. One of them is in theology. It is, you know, it's the study of things of God. You know, just in fact, that's why there's been God at the zenith of every honest thinker, because the height of sobriety of thinking is to realize the limitations that we have. As much as you can do, you can only do so much, and then none of what we do out here touches that. And at the end of the day, when you've got all of that, because I coach very high capacity leaders. At the end of the day, they're 88. They tell you, man, I should have. I lived for the mile markers. I lived for when I graduate from college, when I marry my wife, when I have my first kid, when I
make my first million.
My first million. But I lived. They say, Dennis, I lived for the mile markers, but I forgot to live. And then when you get there, and then it hits you how quickly life went from 28 to 88, and you realize, now what about afterlife? Hence God. It's inescapable that you have to make peace with God, and even when, how can you, for example, bring back your dead child, or the life you ruined, or the marriage you messed up? You know, what gives you reconciliation is peace with God. It's inevitable. You need God in your life. In fact, that's the height of intellectualism, is to understand your limitations. Only a fool thinks I can do it all when you really can't do it all.
You make me realize that I'm not doing this program because of my own might, but there's possibly a divine calling.
Absolutely,
kind of
absolutely. You're touching.
And so we'll close this out with my humbly requesting that to the hundreds of thousands watching us, perhaps even in their millions in the years to come, that we can share a very short but personally touching prayer. Because I think I needed that.
Yes, sir.
And I have found you here. You're on my set.
Thank you,
Say a
sir.
prayer for me.
Thank
and
you,
I'll
sir.
share the prayer with my listeners and viewers.
Thank you, sir.
I invite you.
Let's pray. Thank you, Father, for our time. Thank you that there's no accident. For the broken kid out there, the one who just attempted to commit suicide, for the despondent dad who's just been left with, with just life in crumble and shambles, to the mother who's just lost her baby, the dad who's just been diagnosed with whatever, and to the broken, to the despondent, Lord, I pray that you would please come and first hover around them and show them how real you are. Make yourself real to them now, I pray, Lord. I pray that, Lord, at the end of the day, after our quest for success and for peace and for that we find indeed the true treasure that surpasses it all, the rest and peace in you. May we invite you into our lives, and may we see that peace that only comes from God. Thank you, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for praying too.
Thank you.
For our listeners, for myself,
Thank
for
you, Simon.
everybody.
Thank you, Simon.
But also, most importantly, sharing your incredible life story.
Thank you,
And we
sir.
believe this is not where the story ends.
No.
This, in fact,
No.
is just part of the
No.
story.
No.
So once you ever find yourself on this set again,
Yes, sir.
don't start with the opening line of "been here before."
Yeah.
I think I told it all. No.
Yeah.
We start from where.
Start again.
Start again.
I'll be
And
back.
start again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Bless you too, sir.
All right, cheers.
Thank you.
So, having a conversation such as this, it leaves you with nothing but inspiration. You feel challenged, you feel inspired, but most importantly, you get to realize that you're not walking that path that you are walking, doing a fast, that you are the first person to experience what you're experiencing. Folks have treaded that path that you are treading right now, perhaps with less hope than you have, but see, they make it through unscathed. But even when they get scarred, they hold their scars as badges of honor.
That's good.
And proceed. And that's the whole essence of an incredible life story. Let's meet, same time, same place, having another conversation with yet another incredible person sharing their beautiful, incredible life story with myself, Simon Kasyate. Good day.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.